Alrighty, so we are live, and I think Łukasz, you are not. I cannot hear you. So you're still muted. Oh, right.
Yeah. So what I said is, can you hear me?
Yeah. So initial. I was about to use F word, but we cannot use such words there. So
Really?
initial problems are over us right now. So yeah, welcome everyone. I have a pleasure to join Łukasz today to talk about what happened on Vercel Ship 2 days ago, right? It was 25th of June, right?
Yeah, and it happened in New York, so that's I have my cap on. It has nothing to do with the fact that my hair is very messy today.
Well, I'm asking about the date because I was also out of Poland, to be honest. I was in Berlin on the Google I/O Connect. So I guess we are pretty much on the same page when it comes to Vercel Ship. I mean, I kind of read the summary, did some research, but I guess I need some deep dive into what really changed. So I'm happy to be there and to have you with me. So you will probably have more knowledge about all of this stuff, and you will be able to explain to me what every change mean for example, React/React Native/ whatever tool you are using developer.
You're flipping the table for this live stream. This live stream is supposed to be two devs coming unprepared, discussing the latest React and React Native news, and Vercel Ship is fits in that category definitely. But yeah, obviously we prepared just a little bit. I didn't watch the whole thing. The whole thing lasted for like 7 hours. Uh,
7 hours, 20 minutes.
yeah, so the actual live stream lasts 9 hours, more than that, but first 1 hour and a half is just like waiting music. And then Guillermo keynote is like 50 something minutes as well. So it might be hard to recap all of this, but fortunately they released everything on their website so that we can look at the examples, look at the actual code, look at the actual explanation of the things that they released. And mm, one
Well,
thing that is important to mention here is this is a Vercel ship. This is not Next.js Conf. Next.js Conf happens in autumn, I think, like October,
no
November,
idea on
something
my
like
side.
that,
So
usually. And the next.js version is probably going to be released then. This is platform updates. So there is some code to it, but overall, those are updates to the Vercel platform, to the way how we ship things with Vercel. So I hope, Szymon, that today, at the end of today's stream, we can spin up a boilerplate Next.js app, and maybe we can play around with some of those things. I'm not sure how many we can actually test, but hopefully we can at least check out some of those. I'm really interested in this bot ID. Sorry for jumping like straight into one of the topics. I'm really interested in this like bot ID, which is like a replacement for CAPTCHA. But I was thinking, oh, maybe we can play around with this. Like the API is really simple. But then I'm thinking, huh, how are we going to like mock the bot behavior? I mean, we
it's
can, yeah,
you can always send a request with Postman, with curl, with whatever can send HTTP requests.
uh huh,
Because basically, well, bot can be considered a simple curl call or Postman call, but also, for example, uh, what was the name of that? Playwright. It can be also considered a playwright
yeah.
session. And it all depends on, for example, on user agent headers, which is the most like simple way to detect if a bot is trying to open your page, basically by looking on the headers and determining if user agent is something you are not expecting, because all those tools said something in the user agent header. And bot ID is really interesting because, well, it's the promise is that we won't see any UI at all. There will be no UI you need to interact with. There will be no images to select because those images, those are pain in the ass. Let's be honest. I have so many times had to go over the images because I selected something wrong, or I didn't see some car hidden in the behind, or I know whatever else there is to be selected. I guess crossings. I guess maybe something different, but in the end, it's true that with reCAPTCHA, this normal bot protection we use right now, people tend to be angry that they have to go through this over and over again, and generally we tend to lose money because of that, because of how long does it take to prove that I'm not really a bot. I'm not trying to harm you. I'm trying to buy. I'm trying to use your product. So I guess if it's really that powerful, if it really works without forcing user to do any interaction, then it will be well, break changing.
Let's
Break
maybe,
make.
if we already started, like when I do this live stream with Kevin, we joke around a lot, but since we already like jumped into the like nitty gritty um of the actual like news, let's just go into it. Let's not waste time trying to be funny
It's
or
Friday.
trying to do any like small talk or whatever. Let's
It's
just go
Friday
to Vercel
evening.
side.
It's Friday evening, so well, I guess everyone want to do something fun in this time.
Well, I
So I
consider
guess,
this fun. Honestly, like I consider this fun.
I mean, for us it's fun, definitely, but maybe for some people they are looking for a solid recap of what changed, what happened, what they will use in the future.
So Shimon, you sent me a link. Is this one? Because I was using this one. Like I was just
Um,
looking at the changelog, and anything that has like today's date or yesterday's date or like 2 days ago's date is.
there's that's also a way, but there's a single blog post basically
Oh,
aggregating all
okay.
the
There is like
changes.
one single blog post. Cool.
Hmm.
Okay. Thanks for
So
coming
even
prepared.
Vercel knew that nobody, okay, maybe not nobody, but just a small fraction of people will generally go through the whole thing, and the rest of us needs a
So
recap.
like probably we'll just use this blog post as our like notes for the episode. Then if you want to go deeper into something, we'll go to the changelog and then into the documentation, right?
And source
Probably
code
like that's the like complexity ladder that we want to follow.
sounds great to me.
Okay, this will this will force onto us the order though. And I don't want to start with this, honestly. I don't want to start with AI Gateway. I know what it is, uh, roughly. We can talk about it, but let's put it on the side for now, okay? You have another opinion? I can't hear you. You're muted.
I'm not sure what happened, but okay. I was saying that bot ID is nearly at the end, so if you want to continue with bot ID, you need to scroll down a little bit
Yeah, let's do
further,
that.
and
Okay.
then we can
Thanks a lot.
basically go around and maybe return to the top or whatever.
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
bot ID.
Yeah. So this is bot ID, and the whole thing basically describes the problem of having to interact with some kind of weird UI and selecting weird images, only to do what's really expected from us as a client. I want to buy thing. I want to use a product. I want to use some service. So there should be no requirement for me to prove that I'm not a robot. It should just work. So it looks like we will get something like this, like some
Well,
automatic.
I think it would be good to like compare this to the actual CAPTCHA, right? To the actual work that you have to do right now. And CAPTCHA is a paid solution, like mostly, right? So I'm gonna ask, how do I implement CAPTCHA on my website?
And while Perplexity is working in the background, funny thing is that we have bot ID now, and I think that on the same day, Cloudflare responded with their own solution for that,
Yes. Yeah.
which is it's
For
not a
this,
coincidence.
no, it's not about that.
It's not about that.
Yeah, you're mixing two different things that you've heard in Tio's video.
Yes and no, I would say. So,
Bot ID Cloudflare.
mhm.
How do I write Cloudflare? Sorry, I'm okay. So this is Cloudflare. Bot ID. Detection IDs. So that's predictable bot behavior.
It's
Like this is from May. That's from 2 months ago.
This is not this one. So you know what? I will be looking in the background, and you can go back to the Perplexity for a second to see how.
We all know what CAPTCHA is. Basically, as a user, we know that as those like funny boxes that we need to like select where the bus is on the picture, or we need to like solve some equation, or we need to like decipher the text. That's CAPTCHA working, but that's just the last step of CAPTCHA working. Actually, most of the work that CAPTCHA does should and usually is invisible to the user. So based on your like behavior on the website, CAPTCHA will decide if you are actually like a proper human or there is a possibility that you are a bot. And if there is a possibility that you are a bot, you will get this CAPTCHA as we know it, which is like a riddle to solve or whatever, right?
Yeah, the funny thing is that
yeah.
in certain cases with Google reCAPTCHA, you can get pre-approved to access the page or do whatever you want, but still you will see the same prompt, and you will be asked to select images with buses on them. And you can try it out next time you see this this model. You can try doing something wrong, and it's likely you will be accepted.
What do you mean doing something wrong?
Selecting selecting images that doesn't contain buses, for example. So I noticed that CAPTCHA is used also by Google to train their models, visual recognition models. So they are giving you tasks, which basically they know that you are a human because of the background activity you described, because of other characteristics.
Do you think this still happens? Like, I know that this used to happen, but like with new and powerful AI, do you think they still need us stupid humans to like help them out?
Well, the more data to train better models, the better.
Like, honestly, I know that this used to happen like 10 years ago or whatever, maybe more than that.
I definitely stumbled upon this. Maybe not this month, but definitely this year or the last quarter.
Okay, so like, okay, Cloudflare has this. Cloudflare.
Turnstile, yeah. And you were right that I mistaken two different things, but we will get to that later.
So is this new? No. This is not
think
new.
it was created 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's
but
not.
Technically, it has a similar approach to CAPTCHA. It has some invisible mode, which basically means that it will try to detect if given user is a bot or not by some heuristics working in the background.
I have a question to our listeners. We have 51 right now. We will go on soon, but can you please let me know if our audio levels are equal now? I know that there used to be a problem, and I turned down your microphone, Shimon, just a little bit a few
Sorry.
minutes ago. So I want to know if you can hear us all right, or if I should maybe um, increase my volume or decrease Shimon's volume, or what. And if we have any friends watching us from Callstack or like others, please engage and let me know. Help me out with here. Okay, we will wait for that comment. So going through like implementation method, right? For Google reCAPTCHA implementation, you register your website, you get secret key, you do the front end integration, and as far as I know, there is no npm package for this. This is just like a script tag that you put on your website. You add like this is alien for us right now as web developers. Like this kind of things looks like my grandfather used to do his website in like 1930 or whatever.
The truth is there is a component for that shared via npm, so it's a little bit better, but still you need to.
Yeah, there are some wrappers, but I don't think the wrappers are coming
It
directly
boils
from
down.
Google.
It boils down. No, they don't. They are
Yeah.
third-party wrappers over the JS you just shown. So it boils
So
down to the
like
same JavaScript.
it's a lot. So that was Google, right? Like you
Mhm.
can see, it's a lot of things to do. Then the custom captcha, like custom captcha, meaning like my own. Don't don't create your own captchas. This will not work.
Maybe it will work for just a second or two, and then
uh,
bots will basically
okay,
go
so
through.
framework specific. Okay, so like as you can see, like I'm gonna ask, is captcha paid? Uh,
I think the Google's one is free. That's
really?
what I
Okay.
remember from the past, but maybe that's the reason why they train their models on answers. Because if you don't,
I'm gonna ask this question next because I really want to know if this is still happening. If they should pay me for training their models.
you know what they say: if you don't pay with cash, you pay with the data.
Okay, so let's go back here. So in Vercel's case, like overall, like this is the thing that you do. Actually, it's not. Actually,
Um,
it's more than this.
yeah, this
So
one is only um, for
this is
using
server.
exactly pure server
Okay.
side verification.
So this is server side. How it works. So the basic one is free and enabled by
Exactly.
default, and the deep analysis, this one is paid.
Yep, and it uses some
Um,
third-party service for that.
yeah, it is
Casada,
powered
that's
by
the name.
a third party, this Casada company. Okay, available, blah 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 blah. Okay, there's nothing here.
You see get started linked there.
Yeah.
So yeah, you need to install something. Then you need to configure your project uh, to properly redirect to other places. But generally, you can use it. You can use the with bot with bot ID function to do it automatically. But if you can't for some reason, this is the rewrites you need to set.
Oh, okay. So I do this if I have a easy project, and then if I don't have an easy project, if you're
If
not
you are
using
not using
Next.js.
Next.js, so
Ooh, that's
technically
interesting.
technically there's I think there's nothing really stopping you from using bot ID. I'm a little bit worried because if you go to the post method you shown before, there's no parameters passed to it. Generally, you just call is bot and you get the answer. So it kind of seems like there's some logic hidden inside of the package, using some Next.js internals or some other internals to get access to the request object. You see that? There's check bot ID with no parameters. So
Yeah, I know.
technically, this method should not access requests at all because there is no direct link between those. But I somehow I believe they somehow do that under the hood in this library, because if not, then how do they determine if given request is a bot origin or not?
Maybe on one of the like more in-depth live streams you can actually look at the code.
Well, the code is short because I already did that. So,
you already look at it?
yeah, I mean the code is, I think it's 30 lines of code, which is basically calling Vercel's API.
Okay.
That's it. There's a single fetch inside.
So like what's important here, like I didn't know, like I actually didn't read up on that you can use it without Next.js, but obviously you have to be on Vercel, right? Like obviously you have to use Vercel as your platform because this is Vercel. Like it's
yes.
not a standalone package that will work for like everyone everywhere.
Yes, if you go into the source code, you will see they expect some kind of token, access token, to be present. And this token, I believe, is only injected when you run on Vercel.
Okay. So then it doesn't run on all of the routes. You need to like specify the routes as an array that you want to like secure. And that's all. On that route, then you check bot ID. Like very simple. Very nice API. Like as you said, like I'm not sure how confident you can be that this will not block some of your like legitimate users.
Hard to say, to be honest. With reCAPTCHA, I think that with reCAPTCHA you have an option to set, let's say, a level of confidence, a number between 0 and 1. The closer to 1, the more confident you can be that this is a legitimate user. The closer to 0 mean that user will not see reCAPTCHA, for example, the UI at all, because they will be silently accepted by the background, some background work, basically. And the default value is 0.7. So it's rather high, and I think I heard somewhere that 0.3 means that 5% of your traffic will be rejected.
You can bypass this. Okay, I'm not gonna go into this. So like I said, basic thing is free for everyone for any requests, and then deep analysis is $1 per 1,000 requests, which
and sometimes
seems high.
It is, but you need to remember that you don't want to cover all of your pages with that. You can cover only those critical ones, which you really care about not letting bots in. For example, checkout page. You don't want scalpers to buy all of the tickets to your event, so you will basically enable deep analysis for the single page. I guess it should be possible to set it only for the single page, not for the whole application and for all pages.
Okay.
The only thing I saw while you were scrolling, if you go back to the bot ID page, there's a quick note saying that you need to use the component, because if you don't use the component, the check will fail. At some point, it's visible. If you go up a little bit. Okay, next. This one, you see that? Not adding the protected route to bot ID client will result in check bot ID failing. The client-side component dictates which requests to attach special headers for the classification purposes. So it sounds like it's deeply connected with Vercel and Next.js, at least at the moment.
It only means that if you use this function in component that is not here, it's
It
gonna
will fail.
fail.
Yeah.
That's
So
all. Like that's pretty straightforward.
it means that it's not. I mean, okay. I mean, if you use
I
curl or
wonder.
postman,
I wonder if this is like type safe, right? Like probably you could figure out a TypeScript setup to like or lint to help you figure out if you can use this function in this particular route, in this particular component.
technically, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
it sounds complex. um, because
Well,
you
I'm
can
not.
always do rewrites, for example, with next config.
I'm not saying that I'm gonna do it right after this stream, but like I'm saying probably it is possible.
Probably.
Okay. So that was bot ID. This is something very big, in my opinion. Definitely.
This because it's free for Vercel customers.
Yeah.
And with no UI by default and the promise that it will block the majority of bot traffic coming to our websites, well, reCAPTCHA is out of the place right now. I mean, at least for Vercel users. The question is how Google and general other services will respond to that. I kind of feel we will get another reCAPTCHA version 4 in the next 2 months or 3 months, just to counter the bot ID released by Vercel.
And hopefully simpler one, yeah?
Yeah, I would love to see simpler reCAPTCHAs because, to be honest, images, they are no longer like human domain. With large language models, you can get information about what bots see or what is on the image in milliseconds. So there's no really a reason to still rely on images and presence of certain objects on them. And the sandbox is the thing that Cloudflare announced the same day.
Yes, that's the one.
Yep.
Do you want
Sorry
to talk
about
about it now?
Yeah, because
You know
it's
what?
not really.
Maybe if you are you prepared to take the screen sharing from me and like let's look at this blog post and like in the meantime I'm gonna spin up a new Next.js app to like install all of this.
Sure thing.
Because like if I'm sharing and installing at the same time, like everything is laggy for me.
That's the high time you invest in some rather high-end hardware for streaming.
I have almost the highest end hardware.
Still not enough. Sounds like it's still not enough.
Yeah.
So let me simply go to vercel.com and I will share the screen and I will talk about Sandbox, and you will be able to focus on creating the new project. Funny thing, if you write Vercel Ship 2025 recap in Google, this string will come up in the first 10 results. So pretty high in the results.
Yes, yeah. That is true.
All right, but do not let anyone wait and just enjoy the silence. In the meantime, I will start talking about our sandbox. So, let's say in the age of AI, you can say that we are in the age of AI. There are so many tools popping up, which basically are, code generators, app generators, however you call them. And the problem is that with code generated
Are you sharing now?
I'm
You're
clicking share in a second. Now I'm sharing. You can try. Okay. Nice. So let me go down to Sandbox and maybe
also
make
bump up the font a little bit. Maybe one more.
So one more?
Yeah.
Bang.
Cool.
So with Claude with, Claude by Anthropic, with Gemini by Google, with V0 by Vercel, the problem arises that LLM can output something nasty. People can trick LLMs into doing some nasty stuff with playing with the local file system, with accessing some system services, which are critical for operation of the whole, for example, instance, for the whole server. And if you allow generative code to access such critical services, you risk, well, data breaches, you risk denial of services attacks, you risk many, many things. So there's a need for a tool, for a sandbox, which will allow you to run your code or code coming from, well, anywhere basically, in some, let's say, closed environment, which cannot, and this code running in this closed environment should not be able to reach outside of it. It should be able to reach, for example, file system, but even though the code, for example, executes Jesus Christ, runs command to remove your files, the sandbox should basically stop the code from being executed. From the perspective of the code, it may look like the function was called correctly and the file is gone, but in the real file system, the file will be still there. So it will be basically safe to run anything coming from any model, because it shouldn't really cause any harm to the outside world. And with V0, it's natural for Vercel to build something like that, because they need that for the product they are building, and the product that's currently used by many, many, many people. And it's still gaining traction. There are more and more people using V0. So that's why they created Sandboxes, the whole API SDK for Sandboxes. Yeah.
So that's like isolated sandbox with like limited lifespan that cannot interact with the like okay so can you give me like step by step workflow for using this? Like how would I use it in what scenario?
Here you are. For example, they give example not because, well, it may sound tricky to understand what's going on with sandboxes and why they are important. So they give an example, and they ask Sonnet, Cloud for Sonnet, to basically write a Node.js script. And as you probably expect, whatever comes from the model will be then executed. And we cannot trust anything coming out from the model, because there may be everything. This case is simple because there is no user input, but if there is a user input in the prompt, you may be sure that somebody would try to break it. Somebody would try to go over the system prompt, over all security measures, and just try to make harm, right? So that's why when they create code with AI, they create a sandbox, as you can see, sandbox instance. They create a single file in the instance with the code received from the AI model. And then inside of the sandbox, they basically run Node.js command. Node runtime, Node environment to run this script. Yeah. That's pretty much it.
This is such a
It's
unreal.
not something
like I'm not saying unreal meaning like no one would want to do it. I mean unreal in terms of we are living in AI. Did you say AI age?
Something like that.
Times of AI.
I'm super. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, where like we have from Vercel and from Cloudflare on the same day virtual environments with sandboxes, so that we can run the commands that AI made for us that we didn't even see.
Things like that. I think already existed in the past because, for example, you know that we have lambdas.
Yeah.
So AWS Lambda, Cloud Run, or Firebase functions in Google Cloud, and the same thing is in Vercel. So those uh, those platforms run our code in some shared environment, and they also cannot really. They, okay, for some reason you. Okay, you're back because you were gone for 10 seconds.
Yeah, because I'm running the
Yeah.
Next.js project.
So yeah, we have lambdas, we have other environments when you run your code in some shared environment with others, for example, or at least there are many instances running on the same time on the same hardware. And that's also the case when you need to be sure that if I, as a user, try to do something harmful to the hardware itself, I will be not allowed to. So this is also a case for sandboxing. It's not something new, but there was no case to create sandboxes for Node.js for to be used in Node.js environment. But right now, when we all generate code, or at least the applications for building applications, they generate code and they need to run this code somewhere. There is clear need for sandboxes in Node.js.
Okay, I'm just like I'm wondering like, mm, probably this is for power users, right? Like this is for people that need it. Probably like
Definitely,
most of the like simple customers as me will like not need the sandbox
not at
at
all.
all.
There will be no reason to use sandboxes
Yeah.
as long as you don't need to run some code in a safety manner, which basically you don't trust. So, for example, if you allow your users to script something and then you want to run those scripts somewhere in your infrastructure, then you will use sandboxes. But that's pretty much the only use case for that. Um, the good thing is that this sandbox, this SDK, is supposed to work anywhere, not only on Vercel Cloud. So that's something you can probably use even when running, for example, on Cloud Run or when running on AWS, which is super fun because I
Mm-hmm.
like when tools like this are versatile and can be moved between clouds without any problems.
Oh, you moved on to the next topic, or what?
It's still Sandbox.
Well, it's okay because like the same kind of thing you might have say about the sorry, let me look at it. AI gateway
And okay,
at the
so
very top.
let's move to a gateway. Uh, okay, so this is something we may probably use in the future, even as Callstack and Callstack
Mm-hmm.
employees, um, because well, AI is right now on everyone's mouths, so everyone wants to use AI. There are so many models available, and there are so many platform services giving you access to AI models, and every other service wants to have your credit card number to charge you for access, for example. But for example, let's say that there are use cases when Claude is better, and there are use cases when Gemini from Google is better. But if you want to use both of them, you need to pay to both Google and to both Anthropic. And as a small customer, you may not get the best offer, best pricing. You may be rate limited, for example, because you are too small. They are rate limiting you, and in order to rise the limit, you need to spend some money, for example, or just have a conversation with the support or something like that. So instead of doing that, instead of downloading several libraries to integrate with different providers, you can think of AI Gateway as a server-side equivalent of AI SDK. In AI SDK, also by Vercel, you basically swap models on the front end side, let's say, in your application. With AI Gateway, you will be communicating with a single service in the cloud, and the single service will basically be a proxy between all those providers. So we will pay only
And
once to
also,
only one entity, and you will be able to access all those providers.
I think also hmm, what's important here is that it's not only about like changing like model and provider. They're not like um, connected for life. You can have same models on different providers.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true for some models only, but generally you're right. And that's the case, for example, for the Cloud Sonnet, because there is
Yeah.
a deal between Anthropic and Google, I think, that you can access Anthropic's models in the Google Cloud. In some, I don't remember the name of the service, but there's a service for AI models in Google Cloud.
But I'm thinking like in the future this will become more commonplace, right? Like you will have all of those different models, and like you will have providers that just host them and like give you access to them.
Um, that's true for open source models. And why? Because they're open source and nobody have to pay for them. And those providers like AWS can just host them for free and just, you know, let you pay for them for accessing them. So yeah,
Okay, so
there will
go to
be
the
cases like
documentation
this.
for this. Go to the documentation for this. Click AI Gateway, and then click documentation.
Uh, okay. Oh, this is only a blog post. Okay, check
Yeah.
the documentation.
Okay, so
So
like the first sentence is very important. Like this is basically what it is, meaning proxy service from Vercel that routes model requests to various AI providers. That's all. Like
yep.
this is all it is. So you don't like
Um,
ping
yes and no.
Google directly. You don't ping Anthropic directly. You ping, what do you ping?
Vercel directly.
You ping the
Vercel.
what is it? Yeah, Vercel. AI gateway Vercel SH.
Yep. And an AI gateway on behalf of you ping whatever provider you need. And why that's important, not only because it's convenient, but also because, like I said, rate limiting, which can be raised. I mean, the limits can be raised depending on how huge company you are. Plus, pricing is also determined by the amount of use. So technically, with AI Gateway, you can get better pricing than with Anthropic directly. Technically, it's possible. Plus, with AI Gateway, if, for example, Anthropic goes down, and it happened sometimes, I mean, it happened already in the past. The same applies to OpenAI. AI Gateway can route you to some other provider. OpenAI is down, your app will still work because your requests to AI will be then routed to, for example, Anthropic, because why not, or Google. Plus, you have the option to basically monitor your AI usage in one place only. You don't need to jump between different platforms just to know how much money are you spending on AI, which is also cool and also useful. And of course, if
Yeah.
for some reason you need to or you want to use your own API key, you have an option to do that. So that's also cool.
So like by default you don't have to use your own API key?
Yep, because you are not paying Anthropic or Google or OpenAI, you're paying Vercel. And Vercel is paying Google, Anthropic, uh, and OpenAI, depending on the global usage of the platform.
Okay.
So it's not
Which is
you.
also like shortening the path for like regular developers to like check out all of those different models without like uh, signing up for each and every
Think
one of
of
them.
think of Cursor. In Cursor, you can
Yeah.
use many
All of
models,
them.
and in the background, the same thing is happening. You are
Yeah.
calling Cursor API. Cursor API calls, for example, Anthropic API, and then routes back the response to you. So that's pretty much the same pattern. But with Vercel, that's something you can use everywhere, not only in the cursor itself. So it's more generic option.
Okay.
And like I
Got it.
said, you have detailed metrics on how many requests there are for each model, how many tokens there were sent through as input tokens and output tokens. You can see metrics by teams. So technically, you can get pretty much the same results in all of the clouds or the providers, but now you have all of those metrics in one place,
Nice.
which is nice.
Yeah. It's cool.
And there's a free tier. So
Free
if
tier?
you have Vercel account,
Nice.
you now have access to the API. Oh, no, the API. Sorry, AI
Okay. So
gateway.
I just installed the Next.js app. I just created a Vercel account on my like live stream Google profile. So actually we can go there and check it out. What do you think?
Take the wheel
Okay.
if you're ready, of course.
Yeah, I'm ready. So just like please navigate me through this. So like have the notes open. I'm gonna remove your screen sharing. I'm gonna start my screen sharing. So this is my what should I? So I don't have any projects, obviously. And this is my like empty Next.js project.
Yep.
So
And
in order to import project, I need to put it to the Git. Probably. So I need to
connect
create a GitHub
repositories.
account as well.
Okay, so we will take some time so you can revert back to my screen. So in the meantime, I will continue going through the document.
Yeah. I'm gonna. But do I need to like? Yeah, probably. Okay. So.
All right. So let's go back a couple of steps. All right. So the next part, because as you probably feel now, the whole Vercel Ship this year was about AI, mostly about AI, and changes related to using AI at Vercel Cloud. So the next thing they announced is that
This is not about AI.
It is.
The smarter compute with fluid and active CPU pricing?
Yeah, because if you ask AI, any model, any provider about something, you will end up waiting for seconds or even dozens of seconds.
Okay. You mean this is about AI, not in this very direct way of this is AI feature. You mean AI related, meaning AI times of AI, like forced this new pricing
like this. I mean,
on Vercel.
If you use AI, you will earn a lot from this change. It won't affect you that much if you are just doing some normal, I would say normal stuff, but you are doing basic stuff, you're querying databases and so on. It will make your life better and make you pay less the more AI you use. So that's why I'm saying it's more about AI than normal usage. And they also focus on AI in terms of why it's super great to have active CPU pricing. But in the nutshell, to say why it's super to have active CPU pricing, before we dive into it, we need to kind of describe what's the current state of things.
Shimon, I'm sorry. Can I interrupt you and show you the CAPTCHA that I'm solving? The CAPTCHA I'm solving is fucking terrible. Like it's really complicated. Look at this.
Train
Use the
What's
arrows to move the train to the coordinates indicated in the left image. So P4, meaning I have to use the arrows for this.
Mm-hmm. And you submit.
Use the
Oh.
arrows to move the train to coordinates indicated
Are
in
you
the left
in
image.
private mode? I guess so,
No,
right? No? It's
this
not
is
private window?
Q5. No, this is like oh, Q15. Okay. That was not quite right. I did one wrong. So I need to do it all over again. So okay, R3. Yep. This one will be easier now.
Mm-hmm.
K23.
I kind of feel like it could be solved by any model right now, even though those smaller ones.
Q21. Okay. I just wanted to show you this. This is very strange. Okay.
Yep. Going back to the computing thing. So normally right now when you have your serverless function, let's say on Cloud Run in Google Cloud, you will be paying for all the time your code is being executed. And in your code, you can have places like requests to some third-party APIs. You can have requests to AI, which usually take a long time. At least those AI-related take a long time. During this time, your function is not really executing. It's waiting for results of this API call. But in normal pricing, you pay for this time, or because you have during this execution time, you have CPU reserved for you. No matter if you use it or not, the CPU is there for you to be used, which is stupid, basically, because you are not doing anything. So that's why active CPU pricing is super fun. Is that with active CPU pricing, you only pay for the time when your code is really executing, not waiting for any external dependencies, but executing. So it means that if your API call takes a minute and 40 seconds of that is basically waiting for the AI to respond, you will pay only for 20 seconds of this request, which is a huge difference. Of course, there's more into it. You also need to pay up for memory. You also need to pay for invocations. But generally, the change is that you will not pay for the waiting time, for the idle time, to be precise. Which is cool. Which is super cool. And like I said, if you use AI, you will benefit from that. If you don't use AI, you will still benefit from that, but the change won't be that huge, I would say. Normally, SQL queries, database queries take around a second or two, so you will only get a second or two less CPU time. But in case of AI, that's a huge change. And I'm kind of wondering how they were able to calculate the pricing for the CPU time and memory time and invocations, so they are still they are not losing money, because that's not an easy task when you don't have to. Yeah, go on.
You have the historical data. It's easy, right? You just like, how much money do I want to make? Like, how much money if I switch to this new model 3 months ago on this data, how much money I want to make from this? Do I want to make as much as I made now? That's the price. Done. Like, that's simple algebra, right?
Well, yes and no.
If you have the data, and they
if you have the
definitely have the
data,
data.
and if you have, okay, maybe they put some metrics, some observability in place back several months ago to kind of detect when there is a call to the API service. So they now are able to say that, oh, okay, so average waiting time for the API for the AI query is I don't know 20 seconds. So we will earn 20 second. I mean, we will charge users for 20 seconds less. So in the generally we will now earn that much. So maybe that's what happened in the background, but still, I kind of feel they will be losing money for some time. Like always, if you introduce a new product, you need to be ready to make sacrifices for it to become popular.
How much is Vercel worth? Vercel. Uh, how is it called?
I'm
Vercel.
pretty sure it's worth more than we can both earn in our lifetimes. Okay, maybe
Valued
not
at
both, but
3.25 billion. Okay.
$3.25 billion to Polish zlotys.
No one is going to understand the Polish złotys reference, you know?
It's not that much.
Well,
Honestly,
it's 12 billion Polish złotych.
it's not that much. I
I'm
expected
not
more.
sure. We don't have many like multi-billion-dollar companies that are not like resource extracting or like big telecoms or TVs, not like Vercel, which is like a service company, right?
Yeah,
Platform. Yeah.
yeah.
So it's quite a lot, honestly. Let's go back. Let's go back to your explanation of this. So we went from overall, we went from renting the whole server for
That's
a
the
month.
initial state, yeah.
Yeah, which I still do. I still have my small server on DigitalOcean.
Because it's fine for some use cases
Yeah,
and cheap.
it's a fun to play around with, you know? Like
Yeah.
if I need to like check something, I have it available always. Two, this like fluid pricing that Vercel used to do, and now they will do the active CPU pricing, which is
You
like
know,
this is
in,
fair. Like I would say this is fair.
this is fair. This is totally fair. Because technically you are not using their hardware at all. Technically, they could spend this time working on something else, probably
Like
something
mining
for
Bitcoin.
another, for example, or doing some work for another customer in the background.
Yeah.
The only technical difficulty there is to manage the isolation between my data
Mm-hmm.
and their data.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
which is not that easy. It's tricky to achieve, and that's why we are not. The thing Vercel did is not that common, I would say.
Yeah, and Theo explained this well in his video. So let's not over iterate this, or reiterate this, but like it's explained there how like different providers try to do it.
I mean, Cloud Run, um,
Cloudflare,
technically
you mean?
no Cloud Run. This
Cloud
is
Run.
by Google Cloud. So this is a service which basically is equivalent of Vercel functions or AWS lambdas. Run serverless functions in the cloud and scale them. Yeah, and pay only for the time you use the CPU. The difference is that between Fluid and Cloud Run, with Fluid you can the same instance of function can handle multiple requests, which is the thing they announced last year with Fluid. But with Cloud Run, pretty much the same principle applies. Single instance can also accept many connections and share the same instance. The same instance will be used to handle those queries. And technically, if there are many queries and the waiting time is big enough, you can use the waiting time to handle other requests. But if your waiting time is huge and there are not so many requests in Cloud Run, you will end up with bigger bigger price in the end. because still while waiting, the CPU is assigned to you. In contrary to the new fluid active CPU pattern, when if you don't do anything, you don't pay for it. So I wouldn't say there's nothing like this available right now on the market, but the pricing is the most fairest, I would say. I mean, you don't pay for the time you don't use CPU. And how is your Next.js project running in the background? How it's doing?
I create. I'm struggling to push it to GitHub because I have conflicts. Like I have two different Git identities set up on my work computer, which is this. I was trying to add the third one, which is like the save for stream one. It didn't work well, so I didn't push it. We'll probably just do without it today. I'm gonna like this needs some setup. Like I actually struggled to have like two different identities. Do you like you probably need to do that as well, right?
What do you mean?
Like for different projects, like for example, I work for a client and I need to use a different GitHub account working for that client. So I have projects that I work for that client and then projects that I work for like for myself or for other clients that don't require me to set up a new account. So I just use my personal one, my main one. So then those two accounts need to like resolve per project, per repository. So I set it up so that it resolves based on the folder path. So like in my projects slash, I have like two different folders. I have this client folder, and then I have other folder. And then in those two folders, I have a special file that, or I don't even remember. Maybe it's in the git config or whatever.
It is.
That like, but based on the folder path, I use different identity. So I don't want to do it right now to create a third one. I also don't want to like use my GitHub on the stream because there might be something there that I'm not supposed to show.
It is what it is.
Next time with each stream, I'm getting better at this. Probably today I'm not lagging that much. Let's see how the audio is. I'm gonna check our audio. You can talk now.
Alrighty, so the next thing, which is not really related to AI, which is curious because all other things can be connected to AI. And I'm surprised to hear that up until now, Vercel didn't have anything like that implemented in their platform. Because I would say that most of the time, with our releases, we are doing at least, I would say okay, let's say 10%. In 10% of deployments of releases, there's something wrong. And usually, if you, for example, deploy a server-side service, some Node.js service, Java service, or whatever else, whatever language you use, you usually do rolling releases. So basically, you deploy something, you're waiting for a health check to pass, and then you observe if there is something wrong going on. You observe if there are errors raised by the instance, and if they are errors or you see some weird behavior, you just basically Jesus Christ, I think
Roll back.
the word. Roll back, that's the word. Yeah, and obviously you can do that. The same pattern can apply to only certain amount of users. You don't put 100% of your traffic into the new instance. So if there's anything, because if you do that, then if there's anything wrong with the instance, basically all of your customers are now unable to do anything with your platform. So what you do instead? You route only, for example, 10% of your traffic to the new instance, checking how it behaves, if it's working correctly. If it's working correctly, you can, for example, change to, I don't know, 50%, then 75%, and then in the end, 100%. So
So like Shimon, so like this works. You are explaining a scenario for like the whole release, but like what we usually do like in mobile apps for this is we are using feature flags, right? And then we do the gradual
mm,
rollout for a feature that is hidden behind a feature flag, and then we show this part of the application to some users, then we monitor, and then more and more like you can either do it through Google Play Store or Apple App Store, like for the whole release, or you can do that with something like
over there,
Launch Darkly,
yeah,
which is like feature flag system, where you can do the same thing, but like on more granular basis.
true. But as you probably know and feel, using feature flags for everything is not valuable, especially when you're doing some groundbreaking refactors. And I don't know, there are cases when you can't really use feature flags. You need to
So
just deploy the thing.
how did you do it on Vercel before they released this? Like before we have rolling releases?
All or nothing.
Really?
Yeah, you
This
keep your
seems
fingers
like a
crossed and then push the
but
production.
this really seems like a no-brainer that we need this kind of mechanism. So I'm stunned that they just released this now.
I would double check. There was nothing like that, but as far as I know, it was all or nothing back then. I mean, of course, you can use alpha releases, beta releases, and go with your testers through all the channels first before releasing to production. But I think
Well,
the
yeah,
only,
that's
but
like
still,
more or
I think when
less.
it comes to releasing, you were only able to go all in. But the good thing is that Versa had something like instant rollbacks. So there was no need to build the application again. You could
Mm-hmm.
simply say rollback, and that's it. Your
Yeah,
users
yeah,
were
I
routed
actually
back to
use
the old
I
instance.
used that one. Yeah, I used
Yeah.
that one.
So deploying was, I mean, it wasn't that bad because you were able to quickly get back to the old version. It's worse when you don't have such an opportunity and you have to rebuild the app and deploy again, because usually what happens is that you are getting stressed, you are doing something wrong, and you need to wait another 5 minutes for the app to build, and then you do something wrong again, and another 5 minutes, and you are basically losing your job before because of that. So having a single button to roll back is a really good option, especially in case of such issues. Um, but yeah, right now you can just put 10% of your users into a new version and just observe if everything is going fine or not. And you
Listen,
don't need to.
listen. I I figured out the brute force version for this. Hear me out. So before this, how is it called? Rolling releases, right? What you do is on your main page, on your root, you create a random 10, like random modulo 10, right? So every 10
Mhm.
person will go to another like beta release of your website, but like you need to do something with the like URL or whatever, or maybe you will just do the iframe and you will do it this way.
Um, Let me see, because I think there was something like this back then, but it wasn't that
Stupid.
powerful. I mean, because
Oh,
I
you
think there
mean
were canary releases back then possible. Like last year, I think they introduced something like that. And now I'm wondering what's the difference between both. Because, okay, canary deployments are a strategy that allows developers to introduce a new version of an application to a subset of users. Okay, so this is technically the same thing. Okay. Technically, you can do that, but still, it's oh god, you need to modify code and route traffic, let's say by hand. So it's complicated, it's error prone, and nobody really wants to do that by hand. So that's why we get the built-in version, the Vercel platform.
Mhm.
And you have all the monitoring in place, so you see there is in the UI that, oh, my canary version is now getting it's taking 30 seconds, okay, not 30 seconds, but 0.30 second to transfer the first byte. So there's probably something wrong. I need to roll back. So that's nice. That's very useful. You don't need to use any CLI tools. You don't need to um, use, for example, some kind of service like a Sentry or anything else. You have everything in place, and that's probably why Vercel is popular. Because, like I said, Vercel is not really doing anything groundbreaking. Vercel is convenient.
Mhm.
Vercel have everything in place. You are building Next.js
Honestly,
application.
I you reminded me about something. So I think Vercel is a little bit like Expo in
Something
a
like that.
way, that they give you the framework. So Expo gives you Expo, right? And Vercel gives you Next.js. Then they give you a lot of like development experience wins with
Mm-hmm.
all of those like different packages that are also like free with like bot ID, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they give you a platform that you can use to like better embed yourself in the ecosystem of Expo and of Next.js, or you can deploy to any other platform as you wish. So
That's true.
they are like very similar in this regard. And then what I also think, like what I missed from Vercel Ship is anything about mobile. There was nothing about mobile. And then they recently hired Fernando Rojo, like recently, like probably 3 months ago or whatever. They hired Fernando Rojo to be a head of mobile at Vercel, and yeah, I was really hoping that they will like announce something about React Native, something about mobile.
It's too
um
soon. It's definitely too soon. You cannot really do
well, he
anything.
is coming. I think he is coming to React Universe Conf to Wrocław, to our
Yeah,
conference.
that's true.
So
That's true.
maybe then he's gonna like announce
Yeah,
something.
hopefully
I
we'll
hope
get
so.
something. Hopefully we get something. But to be honest, when you are talking about Verso generally, Verso is working in the for the web platform. Let's say it's improving web platform. Web platform works correctly on mobile. So technically, Verso is supporting mobile. It's not supporting any native apps yet. I mean, you cannot use any. There's no special Vercel service that's useful when you develop a desktop app, for example, or mobile app. But I guess if they are hiring head of mobile, so they definitely have a plan to expand into mobile world. We will see how it goes. We'll see what they have in mind, what Fernando has in mind, because I guess he will be the one thinking of all the things they can create and then offer to customers. But
Well,
definitely,
like
it will be something like Expo.
this guy is React Native superstar, right? He's not like I'm not sure, maybe he is, but like he like I know him as a React Native superstar. as a creator of Solito, right?
Yep, and I think
Which is
Drizzle,
Solito is
not
a
Drizzle.
way of like unifying the web and mobile code.
Uh, yeah, it's a compatibility layer between Next.js router and React navigation, basically.
So like what I think they are like they will do is like they will be a competition to Expo. Like that's a no-brainer for me. Like I hope that that is what is going to happen.
At some point, probably, because right now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Expo is having it's the only platform. Expo Application Services is the only platform for building React native apps in the cloud, and then, for
Mm,
example, distributing those apps to testers, um, to users in general.
do you mean like platform meaning like a service that does this for you?
Yep. You just
Huh.
commit the code and something magical happens and you get APK and IPA for iOS. Because that's
Well, like
how Xbox
you
services work.
you can use like just GitHub Action for this and like
Of
your
course
own
you can.
servers for this.
Of course you can, but you have to do it by your hand. You need to
Well,
configure everything. You need to basically maintain those actions by bumping dependencies, by introducing a proper caching for each layer, for C++ layer, for JavaScript layer, for I don't know whatever layer there is, for Gradle, for CocoaPods, for everything. With Expo application services, you technically get all of this for not for free, because that's the problem. Like I said, Expo is itself is free, right? It is.
yeah, Expo
Uh,
itself is open source.
yeah,
Like
but when it
Expo as a framework.
Yep. But when it comes to Expo application services, those are not cheap. That's what I heard basically. That Expo app services are not cheap. So not everyone can allow themselves to use Expo app services, and especially those huge corporations with a huge amount of mobile apps running React Native. Uh, they cannot really rely on Expo because the price tag is huge for them.
I'm doing a research right now in Perplexity about this because I think I've been using some like different tools in previous projects. I'm not sure how powerful or how automated they were. Like definitely not as Expo, but like I feel that there are there are platforms that allow you to do this.
Maybe, but well, if you start React Native project, you are basically directed to Expo. Don't start a new project without a framework. You are allowed to do that, but don't do that. Go to Expo. If you start with Expo, the next thing is well, you're building your app, and then you want to release it to the public.
Okay,
And
so
when
I have Bitrise, and I think I was thinking about it. So Bitrise, continuous integration platform built for mobile DevOps. Yeah, so you can use Bitrise.
Okay, so somebody is working on some
I think
alternative.
I've been using Bitrise 6 years ago or
So
five
it's
years
not that
ago.
popular for some reason. Maybe their
It's
marketing
because
is bad, but
yeah.
um, yeah. But generally, of course, you can do that by your hand. You will not pay uh, that amount of money to Expo or any other, for example, Vercel. But you will have to maintain. You will have to spend time. You will have to learn a lot of things, and probably you will end up. Uh, you will spend hours debugging weird problems, quirks, because for some reason GitHub Action Runner will not have something set in the system. So we as developers and our, I would say, the whole business is now focused on delivering fast, for shipping fast. And because of that, we don't really do anything by hand unless there's a clear need to do that. And the clear need this usually means that the alternative we are now using is too expensive. So then
Okay.
usually we start
Should we go
migrating
back
to
to Vercel Ship?
yeah, probably.
What else? What else do you want to cover today? Like, do you have your like favorite topics that you still want to cover? Micro frontends?
That's the last part. And to be honest, the only thing I know is the thing you are now seeing. So technically, there will be some support for micro frontends in Vercel Cloud. It's high time they have something like that because I kind of feel that micro frontends are now super hyped. Not only I mean, they were hyped 2 years ago in the web platform, and now micro frontends are rushing rushing React Native world. Like more and more companies are investing in changing their architecture to micro apps, micro React Native apps, and having super apps, hosting those micro apps. And yeah, Vercel is now catching up with this pattern of splitting the whole application, big application, into smaller independent modules, which can be then maintained by different teams, released on different schedules, and magically combined into this super app. So that's what Vercel micro frontends is: a set of tools to allow you to split your application into smaller, let's say, small applications, and then maintain everything in Vercel Cloud.
Okay. Well, when you said that like this is something that just blew up, I don't agree with this because like micro front ends like this this has been around since like I don't know 6 years ago.
On web, true. I was
Yeah,
referring
on
to
the
React
web.
Native.
Well, but
Like,
this is for the web, right? Like the
yeah,
Vercel
yeah,
stuff. This
exactly.
is for the web.
But I was also referring to the fact that now React Native is going through the same age, let's say, through the same stage, and we are now also trying to use micro frontends in the React Native world. So that's the high time for Vercel to catch up, basically, to offer something like this as a cloud provider, which is super popular, which is a default choice for many, especially when working with Next.js. So they needed something like that, and they delivered. I think it's beta right now. Yeah, limited beta. Of course, even if you manage to
Can you
create a
click on it?
project,
What does it mean? Limited beta.
only to enterprise plans. So enterprise plan, I think you cannot really buy that by default. You need to,
Okay. Talk to the
yeah, you need
sales.
exactly and
Well, can
get
you click on the
individual code.
limited beta part?
Sure.
Still under active development, but not public. Publicly announced, potentially available to limit. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Limited, you may need to sign NDA to use it.
Yeah.
Yep. Is there anything else or?
Well, there is some stuff. Can you go? Let's go maybe from the top.
I was mostly
Oh, you
speaking
think
about micro
you?
frontend itself because okay, we have micro frontends in Vercel. Cool, but what does it mean? So I'm going through this section
Oh,
to
okay.
learn more about what that really means. So okay, I can and then basically route different paths to different micro frontends. Okay, that's something I would expect from integration like this. Um, some management in the UI in the Vercel dashboard, let's say. Okay, that's also expected. Optimize navigation. So I guess something like prefetching. Exactly, prefetching. So I guess we also get some integration on the source code side. There's a new link component coming from micro frontends, not next client like it is right now. And we get some observability. So that's also cool. There's some Vercel toolbar, which basically allows you to visualize and independently test your micro frontends so you can develop micro frontends in isolation. Okay, that's also useful because you don't want to spin up the whole application with all the modules, all micro apps, just to work on your own micro app. Because if you do that, then you don't gain anything from working with micro frontends. So okay, so we get something. Okay, we would get if we were enterprise. So right now we cannot really use that, and because of that, I'm really hesitant to say if it's groundbreaking or not. Definitely, it's improvement. It's an improvement for teams using micro frontends and using Vercel Cloud. Definitely, they are opening their gates to a new category of clients, let's say. But I kind of feel they are better or maybe more sophisticated alternatives available on the market for people working with micro frontends.
Yeah, definitely. Like this has just started, right? So, uh, I think I think we can say that we are working with Zephyr Cloud as Callstack for micro frontends for mobile. We have a podcast episode about it. So like Zephyr Cloud is like
The default
the
choice for
like
micro
the
frontends.
I I want to no, I didn't want to say like default choice. Probably the default. So
Pioneer.
I don't know much about it, so I'm not gonna like put up any facts or anything like that. But like most advanced, I was going to say like most advanced use case is like Zephyr Cloud,
Yeah,
because
I
like
think so.
people working in Zephyr cloud, they like definitely like contributed to like module federation itself, which is a
True.
big part of like micro frontends. So like they know this space like in and out, basically.
Yeah.
But like
And
at the same time, this is like you said, it's not like Vercel is trying to be the best at everything. It just gives you an option saying if you host your app here already, you might just as well try to use our micro frontend solution. Maybe it's gonna be good enough for you. Maybe it's a good enough solution, right?
you will pay for example, because I think you get only 3 micro frontends by free. And then if you want to have more micro frontends, you need to pay for them. So again, you can try it out for free. If you like it, you need to pay more. So again, developer experience in exchange for spending more money.
Let's see. Are you sure? This doesn't seem like it should be. Oh, okay. Reach out to your account representative to join the limit. So this is limited beta.
But I think if I go there, I will see, where is it?
Yep, limits and pricing.
Yeah. So okay. So I would say probably when you reach those limits and you want to go further, you will need to pay more. But okay,
It
that's my
also
I
very
guess
like very first iteration of this.
definitely.
Yeah.
And I guess we will see more improvements in this matter in the next months. I'm nearly sure that we will
Yeah.
see something else. Um, yeah, and coming back to the list of new things announced during the ship, I think we went through them all. So,
We still have
go.
the Vercel agent.
Oh, right. Uh, Oh,
the
and the
Vercel
queue.
agent
And the
is
queue, but
like
let's start with.
Vercel agent is an AI assistant built into your Vercel dashboard that analyzes your app performance and security data. So basically, you have something like it this kind of things, they pop out in like all of the tools right now. I wonder when we will have it in our like Instagram feeds or whatever. But like in all of the tools, you suddenly have this AI panel on the right saying, "Hey, I can help you like either summarize or understand, or like, do you want me to help you out with this?" Blah blah blah. So like this is basically that, right? But
Yeah,
it's not like for Google documents or whatever. It's for Vercel dashboard to help you understand your app performance.
basically it's some kind of AI model with custom tool calls and access to detailed data about what's going on with your app. And with this knowledge in hand, the model can technically provide the best answer on what's going on.
Hmm.
So it seems kind of useful. It depends on how it works in practice. I mean, we all know that certain AI applications are not really the best. We know that sometimes AI can be really useful and can provide really good answers and even produce some, uh, produce new code or even whole features. But sometimes AI isn't really worth it, basically, worth the price, let's say. So
Well, I guess you get this for free.
most likely, again, developer experience is better, but we will see how they will compensate the pricing of it. I mean, because they are spending money on
Okay,
letting
so
people use it, so I guess
this is
they will.
again in limited beta, and this is again sign up with Vercel community, express your interest in participating, and we will reach out to you. So a bunch of things are like that, right?
And that's pretty much expected. Um, because you don't, unless you are 100% sure in what you build, you don't really want to uh, give people access to it because of many reasons, especially with AI when changing a single word can change the output, so you don't really know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
we all know that, for example, we like to name our projects in weird ways, and maybe some project will basically jailbreak the system prompt and produce something weird in the Vercel
Okay.
UI.
Okay.
So maybe that's why they're trying, just to put a small group of users in a controlled environment with access to their
Gradual rollout,
projects.
right?
Yeah, just to test whether their countermeasures are in place and are working correctly. So
Sure.
there's nothing
Sure.
bad about that. You will see in practice how it works. I think it can be useful, especially for people that are not that much into the whole infrastructure thing. So for developers just building applications with Next.js, they don't really care about where the app is running. They don't care about instances, auto scaling, IPs, routing, about everything that's pretty much a common knowledge for somebody working in infrastructure or cloud, for example. They want to build and release. And if something goes wrong, they want to get answers. So for them, this may be the best option to have answers. But we'll see
So
in
there is
practice.
still one more. Like I'm not sure if we did all of them, but I know there is one
This
more,
one,
and this is offload work to background.
yeah. And again, this is something that's not new at all. I mean, we have queues. We have many of them. We have many cloud providers offering their own queues. We have on AWS, we have SQS, Simple Queue Service. plus 2 more on AWS. Then we have something similar on Google Cloud, pops up on Google Cloud, and probably the same thing on Microsoft Cloud. But again, you need to configure a different project in different console for different provider, then maintain the budget, observe on different UI. You don't want to care about that. You want to build your app. So again, you get something from Vercel, managed by Vercel, built in into Vercel Cloud. You can observe how it works in the same UI you use for your Next.js application. So developer experience is again improved by that.
I don't like from where I stand. This is not like again quality of life, good enough thing. This is not meant for people that were already using queues. This is for
No.
people who were using like functions, lambdas on Vercel, so that they just can like use queues for the task that will like benefit with cost on queues instead of like other ways of doing that.
Yeah, I mean there are use cases where you need to use queues, or you should at least use queues. For example, if you are supposed to send any kind of email, you cannot really be 100% sure that this email will be sent because maybe I don't know, the service we use for emails can be down, and you don't want to propagate errors to your end users. You don't want to inform them that, oh, something went wrong because of the email service provider being down. You can send those emails in the future when the provider is back on. So that's the use case for queues. The same applies to anything that's time consuming. And they are even mentioning, for example, AI video processing. Again, AI. Like I said, everything is around AI. So they cannot. I mean, they didn't really need it. They didn't really need to put AI in this place in this section, but they had to, to highlight that it's useful for AI. So you need that. Nevertheless, it's useful for any long-running jobs. It's useful for any jobs that can fail and should be retried. For example, it's useful for any work that can be distributed between multiple workers, because you can do that with queues. You can have multiple subscribers, and each of them will get a different message from the queue and handle it in parallel. So yeah, you can use that now with Vercel, and with the beautiful UI they will have in the Vercel dashboard, I believe it will be widely used by the community.
Okay, um, that's all from Vercel. I don't really
There's
want to defend.
there's
This is
one more
not a new
thing.
thing. This is just
Um,
like a thing that they say. Yeah, we are the
uh,
biggest AI platform.
yeah, but I wanted to highlight that the naming or maybe the phrasing is a little bit weird to me. I mean, uh, the shift from frontend cloud to AI cloud, it kind of sounds like they're giving up on front ends. I'm not sure.
No, I don't think so.
Like, okay, we are a frontend cloud, but now, starting from now, we'll focus only on AI.
I don't
We'll
think
make
so.
AI our first class citizen. We will
So
still get some front end features, but those will be, lower priorities. Maybe that's just me, but the phrasing there is
this is just like marketing rebranding.
probably because everyone is
It
doing
doesn't
AI.
mean anything.
Everyone is doing AI, so I guess they also need to kind of
So
make sure that everyone
did
knows
you
that Vercel is AI now.
did you see those like product promo material where the product is like a phone or something, and it says AI inside or whatever, and
Samsung does that.
it's even funnier when the product has nothing to do with electronics, but it still has the AI
Uh,
inside.
My favorite AI is the AI included in the washing machines by Samsung.
Yeah.
Or
Uh,
okay, I have a toothbrush with AI.
You do.
Yeah, I have one.
So like, does it like sync to
I
you a
have no
new
idea.
songs every time you brush your teeth?
I mean, it's able to detect which part of the mouth I'm brushing. So technically, it knows that I'm brushing now the front of my teeth in the right top corner. Then I'm brushing back of my teeth in the same corner. Then I'm moving to the other side, and I have those pretty reports that I brushed my teeth for 3 minutes and I washed 80%, for example, of them.
Cool.
I missed some spot and it's in marked in red, or I was too gentle, or the opposite. I was moving. I was
And
putting
then
too
it
much
sends a
pressure.
message. Then it sends a message to your mom.
I would love to be able to, for example, because it sounds stupid what you said. I mean, you're having fun. I'm having fun, but the thing I would love to see in this product is the ability to have two accounts connected to the same toothbrush. It's not there.
Okay.
Like it's AI, it's super, high end. It's powered by God knows how complex software, but you cannot have two accounts connected to the same toothbrush. I cannot, like, because me and my fancy where is the same with different how to name that. Mm, the end part, the brush itself, you can quickly change. So we have two set of brushes with different
Mm-hmm.
icons, because that's fine. The brushes themselves have icons on them, random icons. So they are meant to be recognizable. But the app itself, it doesn't allow you to kind of make use of them.
Probably they will give you a software update for this.
Or they will say it's not possible because it's so complex and please buy another toothbrush. That's also possible. Yeah, but that's sorry for going, you know, uh,
Let's do something fun at the end of this live stream. So let's wrap up Vercel. Let's consider it covered. For the past two live streams we were solving a riddle from bytes.dev. So can you go to the bytes.dev page, and then there is a newsletter. Maybe I can just send you.
I have their newsletter in my. I cannot do it like this. I will have to go to my email client,
I will give you the link. I'm
and
sending
I
on
don't
the
want to
private
do
chat
that.
here. Oh, you have it already.
I have it. I mean,
Well,
I have the page, but
yeah.
I'm not
So
sure if
just
I
click the
can.
link that I gave you.
Where is the link? Where is the link? There's the link. Archives. There's it.
Yeah. So
Where's the riddle?
riddle. Where is the riddle?
Spot the bug? Not this one.
Spot the bug. Yeah.
The first
Whoa,
one.
this one is
Okay.
long.
This is the first
So
one. I will make it a little
spot
bit bigger. Okay. Spot the bug.
spot the bug. So it's some function enrich events. So we have events, and then we
Events.
are mapping over the events. Okay. And then ID, okay, time, user.
Aha! I know what's the issue.
You do?
Yep.
Okay.
It's super stupid, but pay attention to syntax.
Syntax.
Yep. There's a syntax error. The most common syntax error I ever.
So you cannot use the dot notation inside of brackets notation?
This is not a function.
This one,
function.
it's not returning. It's not fucking returning.
It's not considered an object because
yeah, this one will not return an object. This is considered a function body, and like we would.
So this is basically garbage.
Yeah, we will get the like lint error here.
Syntax error even, or runtime error.
Yeah,
Because
so let's
ID colon doesn't
go.
mean
Yes,
anything.
you were correct.
And now there's this one. Okay, there's
Nice.
syntax.
Congrats.
Okay, but this okay, so this is the I thought this is the second one, but this was a solution. But yeah, exactly
No,
what I said.
that's the solution. You were
Yeah,
correct.
you need to wrap it in parentheses.
Cool.
Do
I think
we
we can
want
wrap
to
up
do?
for today. What do you
Okay,
think?
I was about to say we can do another one, but
Another riddle?
yeah.
But we did the last week one.
Ah, okay.
Or
So
maybe, I don't know. Let's check. Let's check. Go to
420.
archives and then this one.
Yeah, you
We did
most
not
likely
do
did
it.
that. This
Actually,
one?
we did not do it.
Okay, so
But this is
there's
so
a machine.
long.
It's not that long, I guess.
Okay, so I know the error. The error is in for function. We are so less than length. Shouldn't this be less than length minus one?
Maybe so. Because
I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe
no,
actually it's
wait.
not. It's
Zero
not.
one. No, it's okay.
No. So it will go to length minus one.
Yeah, we'd go to 4. So it's okay. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
I don't want to do it. I'm tired and I'm sick. Honestly.
Well. Oh, I know. What's the problem? I think so. Yeah, I know. The break statement. It will break from the first loop and not the
You're
second.
correct. You're
I guess.
correct. I looked at the result. Congrats, Shimon.
I'm good at finding such bugs. I would say I'm a specialist in finding such bugs in the code.
So next time, like we were doing this on each stream at the end. So next time we'll do it as well. Thanks a lot for joining me. Thanks everyone for listening. I'm gonna spend some time now to write notes from this and publish this on x.com. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. So I guess see you next time.
See you next time.